Have you ever been terrified by laughter? Not the kind that's joyful or innocent, but the kind that echoes when no one's around. Cold, mocking, and wrong. Tonight's story is about a woman who fled her fears only to become trapped inside them. It was late autumn when Emily Clarke got the call she couldn't ignore. The wind outside her Boston apartment howled through cracked window panes, carrying that dull chill that seeps into your bones and your worries. 29 years old, out of work, and staring at mounting bills, she felt the walls closing in on her future. Then came the offer, unexpected, almost too convenient. A traveling circus was hiring an assistant manager. The job promised a good salary, free accommodations, and travel across several states. A lively community of performers, the ad said, cheerful and inviting. Desperation overruled her hesitation. Within a week, she packed her life into a single suitcase and boarded a midnight train. When she arrived, the circus grounds looked alive with color and nostalgia. Faded posters, blinking carnival lights, the distant echo of laughter. The tent itself towered above her, patchy and striped in red and white, its shadow swaying gently in the cold breeze. A small man in a bowler hat greeted her with a grin that didn't quite reach his eyes. "You must be Emily," he said, his voice smooth but strangely hollow. "Welcome to the family." But as the train's whistle faded behind her, a prickling unease settled over Emily. Among the trailers and wagons, she noticed something off. A line of clown masks strung up along a wooden post. Their painted smiles cracked, faded, and yet eerily lifelike. Each mask seemed positioned to face the same way, toward her. The sunlight glanced across their glassy eyes, and for a heartbeat, she could have sworn one of them blinked. From childhood, Emily had carried a deep, irrational fear of clowns. The same wide, empty grin that made children laugh made her stomach twist. Their faces, rubbery and forced, had haunted her dreams since her 8th birthday, when a clown at a party chased her as a joke, laughing as she cried. Even in adulthood, she avoided festivals, parades, and birthday parties. But life, she realized, has a cruel sense of humor. And now, that fear stood before her, waiting just beyond the circus gates, wearing a smile. At first glance, the circus looked magical. Colorful lights swaying overhead, sugary popcorn scent drifting through the air, and kids laughing as calliope music twirled through the breeze. But when daylight faded, the carnival's colors bled into shadow. The cheerful trumpets grew warped and hollow. The laughter didn't stop. It only changed, echoing softly from the spaces between tents, low and distorted, as if something unseen was laughing back. Emily kept telling herself it was only nerves. It was just a job, just another paycheck. Yet each night, the strange unease thickened. Her belongings started moving, keys vanishing only to reappear inside balloon animals or behind the makeup mirror in her trailer. She'd hear soft, dragging footsteps crunching across the gravel just outside her door, but every time she opened it, the circus yard stood empty under the pale floodlights. One night, as she was closing the ticket booth, she heard someone whisper her name, long, slow, stretched like rubber. "Emily." Her throat seized. She spun around, flashlight trembling. The wind nudged the Ferris wheel into motion, its creak slicing the silence, but no one was there. Then came the nightmares. Every night, without fail, she'd see a tall clown figure standing over her bunk, head tilted, his grin too wide, his teeth too sharp. When she woke, red marks ringed her wrists, tiny indents like she'd been tied with balloon string. Sleep fled from her after that, but exhaustion was its own kind of nightmare. When she begged her boss to let her leave, he refused with a laugh that froze her blood. "Nobody quits the circus after midnight," he said, eyes glinting in the half-dark. The next evening brought chaos. Sometime past 1 in the morning, laughter erupted from the main tent, wild, echoing, and inhuman. Performers stumbled from their bunks, panic slicing through the night. Emily ran toward the noise, her flashlight beam trembling across crimson fabric. Inside, every clown costume was gone from the racks. The mirrors were smeared with dripping red makeup spelling a single word: stay. Her flashlight flickered. The laughter grew louder, and for the first time, Emily realized there were far more clowns in the tent than the circus had ever hired. As Emily stumbled back, her flashlight trembled violently in her hand. The curtains behind the main ring fluttered even though no wind blew inside the tent. Came the sound, a faint squeak, like rubber twisting against rubber. From behind the curtains, balloon animals began to emerge. First a dog, then a cat, then dozens more, all floating on their own, their latex bodies pulsating like they were breathing. Each stretched and twisted into distorted shapes, their once smiling faces contorting into grotesque grins. The air thickened with the scent of grease paint and rotting popcorn. The carousel outside started turning on its own, and from all directions came laughter. Not the joyful laughter of a crowd, but layered, overlapping laughter, high and low, echoing, wrong. There weren't just one or two voices now. There were dozens. It felt like the whole circus was laughing at her. She spun the flashlight toward the center ring and froze. The ringmaster's red and black clown suit stood upright in the spotlight, empty. Yet its painted mouth began to move. The head tilted, and a slurred sing-song voice rasped from nowhere. "You didn't like clowns, Emily. Now you'll be one of us." The lights burst, crimson, then total darkness. The sound of balloons popping filled the air, mixed with faint giggles that seemed inches from her ear. Something cold brushed the side of her face, and before she could scream, the world went black. When the lights flickered on again, the tent was empty. The laughter had stopped. Only a single clown costume sat neatly on the bench in the front row. Emily's name tag was pinned to its chest. The fabric was still warm. Days later, the circus packed up and rolled out of town. The field was left barren except for a single missing person flyer fluttering in the dirt. Witnesses at the next town swore there was a new clown in the troupe, taller than the rest, always in the back row, silent. And late at night, when the spotlight hit her face just right, her painted red smile seemed to stretch too far, curling all the way up to her eyes. Some fears don't disappear. They wait to find you where you least expect them. And sometimes, laughter isn't joy. It's hunger wearing a painted face. So next time you pass a circus tent and hear laughter long after midnight, don't look back. If this story sent chills down your spine, hit subscribe for more true horror tales every week. Turn off the lights, keep your curtains closed, and remember, some fears wear a smile.